Good afternoon, everyone. Chapter 217 of Undead Unluck today, and we're going to be ranking all of the fights in this series. So, put them up.
So, like I said last week, I purposely don't think anything of it going into it when it goes to these tier lists. So, I'll be seeing it just like you guys. Once I see it, I'm okay. This one, trash. Nah, I don't think it's
the tier list is interesting because it has a couple of fights on there that it didn't even consider fights. But I think it's better that way to just include all of the conflicts rather than not include some of them and upset people.
Right.
Okay.
What's up, Gavin? How's it going?
And then we did hear, guys, that Shonen Jump just in general is on break next week. So we will not be here, but we do have a little special surprise planned. So stay tuned for that.
Or at least I believe so. Let me double check all of Jump. Yep, One Piece. Yep, JJK. Yep. Jump
right.
Break. Oh, My Hero. Oh. Oh, I clicked on it. Nothing.
You know what's funny? I just clicked on My Hero accidentally. I was like, all right, time to... Oh, wait. I'm not reading that. I'm reading Undead Unluck.
Dude.
Yeah, Gavin. Vontae said he did enjoy the My Hero ending. Obviously, I have not experienced that yet, so I can't say one way or the other, but I trust his opinion, so I'm sure it was really good.
It's a mixed bag. Like I said, it's really mixed. Like, I've seen so many different opinions on it, but yeah. Yo, Lauren, what's up? Hello.
How you doing? I don't remember which one of us started last week.
I think you did. Yeah.
Okay.
For the One Piece anime watchers, I seen that episode yesterday. Really, I didn't watch the episode yet, but I watched the clip of of Garpa. So where Toei Animation, they just like as of recent, like within from Wano to Egghead, they've been popping off, which is dope because going back to like pre-time skip, One Piece wasn't the best, when it came to the animation until they got to a certain point. I would say around maybe, I mean they Toei has always had its moments pre-time skip, but I would say around like I'd say Marineford's when I started to really notice a jump with what's his name? Is it Nakamura?
Nakamura, I think so.
Is it? He's goated.
The way he does fluid animations is unrivaled.
I'm like, what the hell? How like?
I'm like, water doesn't even move that good in real life. What are you doing?
You thinking about the Luffy when he pulled up?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. All he did was just pull up. It wasn't like,
he didn't actually fight them.
Yeah.
But the pull up was
crazy.
Great.
Ridiculous. Okay. #217 of Undead Unluck. We also have an Undead Unluck video planned for you guys. Eventually, it'll drop eventually once we, workshop it. We already mentioned it before. One of those kind of videos, just trying to get people into the manga or anime, since Undead is like very underrated It's a hidden gem. It really is.
Yeah, we might try to commission our boy Townsy to edit the video. He's been doing a lot of work for, is it Shonen OG?
Mm-hmm.
So if you like any of Shonen OG's content, there's a good chance that Townsy did edit it. So again, we're still in the planning phase of that, but that's definitely on the near horizon because more people need to get into the series.
Yep. So I can't wait for the anime. I have hope that David Productions will. I mean, thinking about the content in season 2, I think they got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ready to just hop into it then?
Yeah, I'll let you go first. So I will take myself off of camera and I'll take myself off my mic.
All right, you guys know the drill. We do blind reacts. Well, now we always do it every week now, but well, you guys know the drill. If you're new to the channel, well, as you just seen, he took the camera off, mic off, so that I can react to the chapter first, and I'll tell him to come in once I'm done, so he can react to it too, and then we can discuss it and whatnot. All right, I'm excited because both of us been waiting for some good stuff. Like, it's been pretty tame so far, but looking at this chapter title, it looks like the her negating ability might be activated. All right. Tatiana. Okay, let me see. I should be good. Boom, I'm good. All right. Touch on now is the chapter title. Wouldn't use and remember resolve the whole issue? There's a limit to how much unchanged and unmoved can pin down, right? If you use remember and Tatiana gets back her previous memory, she can control untouchable on her own. More importantly, Tatiana wouldn't get shaken up when her ability manifests. I freaked out and went down a path of crime when it happened to me. You formulated this plan knowing that, right? So why won't you use it? Because, and then boom, oh yeah, I forgot. One thing I'll say, the last chapter, I really love the art, and I love that everybody loves the when we see all the abilities and the names. Like, that's really dope. I love that in the manga and in the anime. I like that David Production kept with what Tezuka does in the manga when it comes to like actually putting the name of the negating abilities. So you see Unchanged, Untouchable. It was about to come in, but it's not there yet because they stopped it. And the Unchanged, Unmoved. That's a fire ass panel, man. Fire ass page in general. Is this part of the act? It's amazing. If so, this couldn't have been planned, right? That smoke is unreal. Are you out there? What is this? What's going on? I need you to listen to me carefully. That is a negation ability. It's called Untouchable. Untouchable. It emits an untouchable space from your body. That's the reason why you're floating and your clothes have flown off. And right now, we're keeping that area from expanding any further. Untouchable space. What in the world? Why is this happening? Do something about this. My clothes got ripped away. For now, I just need you to calm down. You can't let that area get any bigger. I've got 3 members keeping it in check, but they won't be able to keep this up forever. If they're pushed to their limit, then the untouchable area will swallow the venue and flatten everything. Imagine you in Tatiana's position. You hear about this, like, I mean, this is the same shit with everybody that Foucault has recruited, but imagine that, like, bro, hell no. What do you mean? I'll just flatten this whole venue. What are you talking about? We'll have to wait until after it happens. You'd never believe me otherwise. And she's thinking back to what Foucault told her earlier. What? Even knowing all that, what do you expect me to even do? I'm just a normal model. Today was supposed to be my dream performance. So why did it have to be me? Uh-oh. This pressure is too intense. If this keeps up, then not even the 3 of us are enough, huh? Miss Foucault, we're at our limit. We're not going to last. Sean, step away from me. What? Do you know do you know you're saying? Do you know what you're saying? See, that's a little error there, it seems like. If I step away from you, you'll be affected by Chikara. Unmove. Okay. Okay. If I step away from you, you'll be affected from unmove. You'll be caught by unmove. I like that. I feel like sometimes I notice, like, in manga where there's like a little plot hole when it comes to certain fights or stuff like that would happen where, like, I like that Sean pointed that out, because a lot of times it's one of those things where a mangaka might just forget, like, oh yeah, I forgot. Chikaro's right there looking that way, that direction, while this is going on. And sometimes they just kind of forget. They're like, oh yeah, if Fuko does this, then yeah, she would get affected. Like, wouldn't she get affected by it? And I like that Sean pointed that out. You get crushed, Fuko. Please, you freaking idiot. Gina, apply Unchanged to the blind spot that Fuko will create. I already am. Okay. What's that? A girl just popped in. Is this unplanned after all? She's crying. Tatiana, listen. I am Fuko Izumo, the negator called Unluck. I summon strokes of bad luck upon anyone I touch. Just like you, my ability restricted me from touching others, but the two of us did our best to keep on living because we met important people. Shout out Billy, shout out my boy Andy, who accepted us for who we were. If you allow me to become, what's that noise? That important person for now, I will guide you even if it costs me my life, Tatiana. Ooh. Well, wait, what is that noise? Get back, it's too dangerous. There actually was an easier way, but this stage is a testament to the effort you put in to get here. I wanted you to fulfill your dreams just the way you were. That's my own way of repaying you. Wow. Damn. And that's one thing I do like. I like that Fuko is not like forcing people, into joining a union and whatnot, but she's doing what she like. She's like, okay, you can still follow your dreams and whatnot. We might need you, but we're gonna be respectful with you. I like that she's not trying to like rush anything. I think if that was the case, and this wasn't the last loop from our knowledge, I feel like it would have happened. Like, okay, say the first time when we went against when we're in Ragnarok, that happens, right? And then the second time, Fuko just starts rushing everything, recruiting people, and then that loop doesn't go well, and then there's a final loop. But obviously, here we only got 2 loops that we've really been seeing mostly, and I like that Fuko's just not rushing it. She's being very respectful to everybody, because she should, But sometimes there could be some characters that would just rush everything, But that's my own way of repaying you as your best friend. Wow. The area has settled down. All right, Julia, hit it. Roger, deploying sphere. Oh, there we go, the sphere. Okay. Boom, enclosed her. What is this? The inside of some machine? Tatiana, believe in me. Strike a pose. Your clothes will be fine. Blow them away. Ooh, oh, that's fire. I like that. So she'll take a picture of her in that pod. Is that what's going to happen? The smoke. Oh, never mind. Oh, okay. That looks interesting. Okay. Fire panel. Hologram system activated. Target Tatiana. Coordinate offset of 0.00001 millimeters. 30 minutes remaining. Amazing. It changed color. What's going on here? Wow. Hologram system activated. That's fire. I like that a lot. I think we talked about this before, like her having like an untouchable type armor that can actually be formulated on her body versus her just being inside of a big ass pod. Good job out there, Miss Tatiana. Whoa, but you still see the untouchable around. What do I do now? I can't wear my favorite clothes anymore, and now no one will be able to. Tatiana, you did a great job. You were amazing. Ooh, it's really round. Thank goodness, Tatiana. Look, Miss Tatiana, I snapped the best picture of you. Please take it. I insist. Nice. That was nice. It's quick, to the point. But I like that she has a hologram fit on. That's dope. So she can at least like be out there. Like, even though she still is in an untouchable bubble, at least she's not like in a fucking pod just sitting there, just naked and stuff, and that she can actually wear clothes. She can be out wearing a really nice dress because she's a model. Give her the best dress possible. Make it a hologram dress, and she'd be good. So looks like we're done with this arc just about. So what's next? So we're gonna go with do the whole stuff for Remember now, or we're gonna go for Ruin, Lucy. What's going on now? We'll see. Then we should do a tier list of them, the unbold words. Maybe. Like in terms of when the words were like said, like the moment specifically, then definitely. Like I remember Billy's the first time we seen when he was using everybody else's abilities when he betrayed us. That was pretty fire. There's a lot of really good name drop moments. Even the fucking unclassified ones too. What's up, Hikarunogo. Sorry, it's a tongue twister. What's up, man? Reading Undead Unluck. Just chilling. It was a pretty good chapter, though. Nothing crazy, but I really do like that they got her that dress. That's fire. I do like that a lot. And just Fuko's approach. Fuko's approach to everybody so far has been really good. I don't think she's like, there hasn't been a moment where I was like, I disliked how she was recruiting everybody. I actually do like how she recruited everybody so far. But yeah, now I'm gonna get Twitchy in here, so let me text him real quick. Boom. And once again, guys, if anybody's came a few minutes after or during my reaction to the chapter, we're going to do a tier list right after this. And it's going to be the fights. So all the fights in Undead Unluck, we're going to do a tier list with that. Should be very fun. There's been a lot of great fights in the series already, so it's going to be good. Take it away.
All right. Okay. Chapter 217, Touch on Now. Wouldn't using Remember resolve this whole issue, says Sean? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it kind of would. There's a limit to how much Unchange and Unmove can pin down, right? If you use Remember and Tatiana gets back her previous memories, she can control Untouchable on her own. More importantly, Tatiana wouldn't get shaken up when her ability manifests. I freaked out and went down a path of crime when it happened to me. You formulated this plan knowing that, right? So why won't you use it? Because... Alright, so flashback to what was happening then. Just from Fuko's perspective. Julia down in the bottom, Chikara right behind Sean and Fuko. Is this part of the act? It's amazing if so. This couldn't have been planned, right? That smoke is unreal. Are you out there? What is this? What's going on? I need you to listen to me carefully. This is a negation ability. It's called Untouchable. Untouchable? It emits an untouchable space from your body. That's the reason why you're floating and your clothes have flown off. And right now, we're keeping that area from expanding any further. Untouchable space? What in the world? Why is this happening? Do something about this. My clothes have got ripped away. For now, I just need you to calm down. You can't let that area get any bigger. I've got 3 members keeping it in check, but they won't be able to keep this up forever. If they're pushed to their limits, then the untouchable area will swallow the venue and flatten everything. You'll have to wait until after it happens. You'll never believe me otherwise. What? Even knowing all that, what do you expect me to even do? I'm just a normal model. Oh! It is right in Fuko's face. Today was supposed to be my dream performance. So why did it have to be me? This pressure is too intense. If this keeps up, then not even the three of us are enough, huh? Miss Fuko, we're at our limit. We're not going to last. Sean, step away from me. What? Do you know what you're saying? If I step away from you, you'll be affected by Chikara. You'll be caught by Unmove. You'll get crushed, Fuko. Please. You freaking idiot. Fuko is believing in Tatiana in this moment just based off of prior experiences with her and who she is as a person just in general throughout this loop cycle. This is a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Gina, apply Unchanged to the blind spot that Fuko will create. I already am. What's that? A girl just popped in. A staffer? Chikara's eyes are stressing out. Is this unplanned after all? Sob. Tatiana, listen. I am Fuko Izumo, the negator called Unluck. I summon strokes of bad luck upon anyone I touch. Just like you, my ability restricted me from touching others. But the two of us did our best to keep on living because we met important people who accepted us for who we were. If you'll allow me to become, what's that noise? That important person for you now. I will guide you even if it costs me my life, Tatiana. Wait, what is that noise? Get back. It's too dangerous. Oh, her nose! Oh my God! There actually was an easier way, but this stage is a testament to the effort you've put in to get here. I wanted you to fulfill your dreams just the way you were. That's my own way of repaying you as your best friend. I love this, direct line of context sight between these two characters on these two panels. The area has settled down. All right. Julia, hit it. Roger, deploying sphere. It's the big old bubble. All right. What is this? The inside of some machine? Tatiana, believe in me. Strike a pose. Your clothes will be fine. Blow them away. Oh, she lost her teeth too. I was spoiled on that on Twitter earlier this morning. I stayed up way too late last night with my friend group, so I just kind of woke up and was just scrolling haphazardly. I forgot what day it was, but I didn't realize it was because Tatiana had blown away the front of her face. Okay, so smoke is dissipating. He's going to take the final picture. Wow. That is a clean shot of her. It's got to be like a hologram, right? If I just read the next panel. Hologram system activated. Target Tatiana. Coordinate offset of 0.00001 millimeters. 30 minutes remaining. Amazing. It changed colors? What's going on here? Fuko. Yes. Jesus, like, what the hell, girl? Good job out there, Miss Tatiana. Oh! Aw. What do I do now? I can't wear my favorite clothes anymore, and no one will be able to. Tatiana, you did a great job. Amazing. Whoa, it really wound. Thank goodness, Tatiana. Look, Miss Tatiana, I snapped the best picture of you. Please, take it. I insist. All right. Not quite what I was expecting, but on the other hand, it is exactly what I was expecting.
That's exactly how I felt. But I like that she she doesn't have to be in the sphere, or at least not the physical machinery sphere that we've seen in the previous loop, but she's in a hologram, so she can still wear a dress, still walk around, see out, look outside, but she still has that, around her. So that's pretty cool.
Welcome, Hikaru no Go 13. The unbold words. All right. You think there was anything that I missed in this one?
Nope. One thing that I was saying though, I really do like Fuko's approach, of how she recruits people. Like, if you wanna still follow your dreams, go ahead, But we need you. But she's like, if it doesn't go well, then But another thing I was saying was that you can kind of tell. Well, I was saying that because I remember we talked about this back in the past, like if there were more loops happening, that I think that if that was the case, Fuko would have been trying to rush everything and trying to recruit people really quickly and do a bad job, and then we'll get to this point where she's actually recruiting people and using the right approach. But obviously, that's not what Tezuka was going to do anyway. But I don't know. I just thought about like that could have been like a middle section of, because we talked about like what if Fuko essentially fails, during the loop, even though we know this is like the last one to our knowledge. I think that would have been the approach if there was a loop before this one. I think that that's where we would have seen the crazy adversity first. But
I was just rereading it. She is wearing the sphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just has a cloaking aspect to it now.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not going to actually see it or show it unless she wants to.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we're on to the next thing. What's next? What you think? Remember? Uzi, Ruin, or probably go back to Soul and the rest of the Master Rules.
Well, remember, they got that solar explosion, that supernova, just like sent in their face, and we haven't seen them since. So my guess is we will actually go back to the Master Rules next chapter. At least that's what I would want next. They might do like one more final recap of introducing her to the Union, and then they're going to say they're going to use Remember, but I would prefer if they go back to the Master Rules at this point.
We need it. We need as much of the Master Rules that we possibly can get, because so far the only two that has gotten some good, not even just shine, but like good characterization is Soul and Lon. Beast, I mean, he's self-explanatory. It's really not much to say about him, but he was a fight though. But in terms of characterization, just Soul and Lon so far, but specifically Soul. So I want to see, and I know we will get it. Just looking at the other ones, like Death, for example, the Nun, like.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine what her other phases look like, and just her whole, like, herself, personality wise, and also the luck one. I wonder how that's going to go too when we have that interaction. But this chapter is pretty much like the last one. It was just solid, nothing crazy.
I'd probably give it a 7, just because I was not expecting Fuko to pull that like final gambit move.
Fuko.
And I will also mention the fact that Tatiana's a little bit older in this one. She's about the same age as last loop, but she has a little bit more maturity to herself because she also has a professional career as a model. So I like that Fuko trusted this more mature version of Tatiana to hold her accountable for the manifestation of her new negator ability. But
something else is pretty good is that Fuko, she is definitely setting everybody up to still follow their dreams after they win. In the end of the series. So, which kind of makes me really think that Fuko might end up dying. Like, she's doing everybody a favor essentially. Like, everybody she's recruited, she personally has had. Like, it's really been her, primarily just her. She's had support, but it's mostly been her. And I think that, I don't know, every time I see a character do that, especially a MC, I get the notion that they'll probably end up dying in the end and it just shows how much she meant to these people because she still allowed them to follow their dreams rather than going in there and dying. Because, like, you know, every time she had, like, well, you would think, right, if you were getting, like, with Tatiana's chapter, when she was like, so yeah, what ability that's going to destroy the whole venue? What are you talking about? If somebody's coming up to me telling me all this crazy stuff, and then they want me to join them like a fucking universal war, like, I'm not doing it. But Fuko's approach is so well that, like, they are down to do it, and they will be successful in the end. I think having her die would kind of, I think it works. It just works really well because this is a person who saved our life, protected us from this tragedy that she was talking about. And even when they see, once they use remember and actually see the trauma that they went through in other loops, I think that's going to also really get them on board. And yeah, I just like that. She's just a great foil as an MC.
So I'm going to keep spitting this theory, but it's going to be related to what you just said in terms of Fuko dying. So one way that people die, obviously, is the traditional form of dying. But another way is to lose all your memories. What if she, like, holds up remember to try to, like, I don't know, like, beam power, area of affect all the members of the round table? That's when Injustice activates, and then Fuko loses all of her memories. How would you feel about that?
So kind of like a well, I won't spoil it for people, but in another series, another female
Promise Neverland.
MC, yep, MC. She, yeah, something like that. But I can see that.
That's where I got that idea from, because then you have to build up all those relationships again. And Andy, if he came back after Fuko had lost all of her memories, it would be like a fresh start for the both of them. Because he would then have the one-sided infatuation with her as opposed to Fuko developing the feelings for him first. We could introduce more things with the soul, how maybe you're destined to end up with your partner for the rest of all of the loops. Yeah, but Injustice still manifesting is a huge problem.
It is. You could just off of the simple principle that we already recruited her and we haven't. Just like with Nico, like, so far mostly just Nico and her. Like, Nico, it took him a while, and we seen what happened with him, and it was such a huge moment in the series in general, to the point where Julia is going to be, it's going to be the same, if not even more important to the entire story. That's going to be a huge moment. And I agree with you, it's going to be problematic. It has to. We need some more adversity right now. And I mean, it just makes sense. Like, Juiz to Julia. It sucks that we keep saying this about Juiz/Julia. It's like, ever since the anime, we always had these suspicions about something.
Sorry.
I don't know. She's a interesting character, man. It's probably the only character that I've been sus of this long. That's crazy. It's not even her fault. It's just who she is.
Kind of set up for failure, kind of, be honest with you. But
man, it's gonna be a wild chapter.
All right, guys, anything else you want us to discuss with this particular chapter? If not, we will get right into the tier list for today. I will say it's kind of funny that they're using hologram tech, because they did, not forecast. Forgive me, guys, I'm tired. They did kind of set the precedent in last loop with a lot of the holograms, or excuse me, it was at the beginning of this loop when Nico was like, "You guys have holograms?" Went forward in time, and it's not exactly using Clothy, so Clothy can still be with Andy once he comes back. Yeah, it's a nice little subversion of expectations.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I already see how the aftermath. So like the end of the manga is gonna look like. Seeing everybody doing their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I also see Ano-un writing a story about Fuko.
Oh,
Or Akira
yeah.
writing a story. I can definitely see that 1000%.
Because technically, wouldn't they get their memories back too if Akira was there? Let's say that Fuko invites Akira to the roundtable meeting when they use Remember.
You know something else that's kind of interesting that I think would be cool for Tezuka to do, to make it seem like Ano-un is like writing an entire story, like actually
Mm-hmm.
at the end, because if they, like you said, if he does get Remember, or use to use Remember and gets all the memories, I think that'd be a pretty cool meta, element
Yeah.
to that. That'd be pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I think we probably did mention this, but that definitely might be a self insert for Tezuka.
He did lose his mom, unfortunately.
Oh,
We've
really?
heard that. Yeah. Yeah, he was talking about, I think it was in the spring arc to where he had like fond memories of going to the
Oh yeah,
Sakura
he did.
Blossom
Yeah.
viewings. So if so, I think that's one of the best self inserts ever.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Like that's yeah. All right, we're up into that tier list.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so unfortunately, these are like really small. So we're just gonna do our best here. And then we're not even gonna get to see all of the rows to begin with, but okay, so the first official fight, according to this tier list, would be Andy and Fuko versus the Union Negator Hunters in the abandoned hospital. That ends with Fuko via Undead Unluck dropping a meteor on them.
You know what? Like, based off of that being the first fight of the series and immediately kind of learning like both of their abilities, literally, I give it a C. Like, I really enjoyed that.
I would actually give it a solid B because of the fact that David Production sauced up the animation. I just remember that first episode thinking like, oh, this is Shenra flying through the air, even though he's got blood powers.
Right.
And then with the hunter, him just kind of moving in between the lightning strikes, I thought that was really cool, even though he hasn't come back yet, which kind of sucks. But so my grade would be a B, so we can put it in either tier. It would be, pardon me, the lowest of the B or the highest of C.
You know what? Based off of the whole meteor thing, yeah, B.
Okay.
Because that is wild. The first episode, you see the main character is a fucking meteor. Like, what the hell? And then fucking blood, undead fool. Like, what is this series?
Mm-hmm. All right, next up is Andy and Fuko versus Shen and Void. So our first Negator versus Negator bout. And this is when we learned what Unavoidable was in terms of Void's power. And then we got a little bit of a hint of what was Shen's power, but not the full reveal just yet.
Mm-hmm. What you think?
I think a C is appropriate. It wasn't like bad, but it was just kind of a generic fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, next up is Andy and Fuko while they are on his private jet going across the ocean to go to Russia versus the Union fighter jets.
I barely even remember that.
I love the
I
parts
remember.
bullet. He cut off his hand with a grenade in it and then fired it at him. He
Right.
had the blood slice versus the fighter pilot in it. And then they also used massage CPR on Fuko's chest to get a volcano to blow them up in the air.
When you break it down like that, it really just goes to show how high this fool's battle IQ is. Like Andy's insane. He's insane.
I like it more than Shen and Void, though.
Yeah. I'd say top of C.
Okay. Ooh, this is a great one. So Andy and Fuko versus Gina underneath the red moon.
I personally will put this in B tier.
I would say high B or low A. Because I love the introduction of using Fuko on the battlefield specifically, because she was the one that turned the sphere, through Andy's head, through the hole of Gina's sphere at the bottom. There was also Andy's battle IQ in terms of finding out what her power was so that they could plan something for a counterattack. But I really like this one.
Yeah, I agree. High B.
All right, so I do like it more than that first fight. So let's put it there. Oh god, this might be our first D. Andy and Fuko versus Clothy.
Yep. Don't have to say much.
Next up, Andy, Fuko, and Shen and Victor versus Spoil.
Oh man, that was.
It's got to be A, right?
That's an A tier, yes, for sure. Like that was, I was like, okay, I see. This is a series right here.
And like Untruth.
Yep.
I will never forget Shen's like evil smile face.
Yeah.
He looked like a villain.
Every anime needs to have a character that does some kind of awkward or sinister smile. That's iconic. But yeah, and then the whole transformation to Victor and that's A tier for sure.
Okay, the Union versus Victor. I'll be honest with you. I think this is an S, or at the very least, the highest A.
So for sure. I'll definitely say S as well.
David Productions sauced it up. The sound design, that blood red, almost sunset. It's 5:00, my hero time. And oh man, the fact that we had the foreshadowing, that's the word I was looking for earlier. The foreshadowing of fire working a little bit better on Victor's body / Andy's body when Juiz was slicing him with the burning sword that she got from Burn.
Yep.
Fuko jumping right into the mix of it. I felt visibly nauseous when he was trying to shoot her from point blank range.
Bruh.
Top was saving her. Whew.
That shit was wild. Definitely.
Yeah, that's it. Easy S. All right, this next one's not really a fight, but it's on here. Juiz versus Axe, which is the alien overlords that were trying to enslave humanity.
Since it wasn't a fight necessarily, I'll put it in B though, just based off of like that was her using her ability, and what a negator ability. So I'll put it in B. Just based off
where in the tier.
Since it wasn't necessarily like a fight, it's
definitely beneath Gina, but I don't know if I would also put it beneath Negator Hunters. No, I would. Or no, yeah, I'll put it above.
I agree.
That's tough because it's not like a fight in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Andy, Fuko, Tatiana, and Chikara versus Rip, Latla, Creed, and Fong. So I guess that's kind of like the whole arc they're including in that fight.
Yeah, that was also a really very high battle IQ fight too. I would say that's probably so far for me personally. I think that was like arguably the highest. Well, not arguably. It's like top 3 in terms of that.
Up to this point. Yep.
Yeah, it was a highlight. Well, I mean, it was the arc essentially. So yeah, but I would say it's in B tier. Where would I rank it there? Do I like it more?
I think I don't.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'll put it behind. So second in B tier.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Union versus Billy. So Billy's betrayal. They are going up the round table entrance on Burns' back, and they are fighting on top of the Union table.
That, in its entirety, is an S tier for me. Because it gave me the same feeling that I got from the Victor one. I mean, the Victor one, I would say, is better. Slightly better, because, you know, it was more of a fight. I mean, that one was too, but it was more so just us seeing Billy, the betrayal, and then him just utilizing all these abilities. We were like, what the hell? And then he ended up escaping. But
I think I like the betrayal more than I like the fight. I would probably put this one in A tier if it was solely up to me, because Billy was seemingly just washing them.
Yeah. But I don't know, because it's one of those things where you kind of like, it's kind of like with the Juiz one against the alien, where you're just getting the real introduction to their abilities, but it was that with some of the Victor type fighting. So that's why, for me, I put an S tier behind that, because there's a few elements from different ones that we've already ranked.
Okay. I will put it as the lowest S tier for now.
And I think it would still be the lowest S in my opinion. We'll see though.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty close, but I feel like it's probably going to stick in that position. All right, next up, Andy and Fuko versus Victor within the memories. So we have Dead Rhoda versus Dead Rhoda. And yeah, we saw what Andy's possibilities were in terms of combat ability.
Yeah. That one was good, but I don't think it was like that great, like that crazy.
Honestly, this might be the first one that I actually preferred the manga for, which is a slight disappointment.
Really?
So because I feel that way, well, I would just say that I didn't really get the sense of unease that I got while reading the manga version of this. And I think I've mentioned this before, but there were people inside of that memory. And during the anime, there were not any of those, civilians, let's call them. So when Victor did his slashes that cut up all those skyscrapers, that killed so many people.
Okay. Like, me personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Like, I was more so interested in, obviously, the Andy's backstory and the other stuff going on in there. That I wasn't that crazy about, which is fine, because it's all in the mind anyway.
My rating for this would probably be in the B tier.
For me, I would put it. I also put a B tier. I'll put it behind. I think
I'll put it right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. I put it ahead of Juiz and Ox.
Okay, so our next one is Andy and Ano Un versus Rip and Sean.
This one and Sean. Like I wouldn't even thought of that back then. I wouldn't even nope. And Sean. That was more of a that specifically was more of an encounter. It was like really quick.
Very similar to the Juiz and Axe.
Yeah. I would say it's like I would say it's above that.
Above Juiz and Axe?
Yeah. More combat.
Okay. So the last fight of season 1. So Andy, Fuko, Rip, Latla, Bax, and Ano-un versus Autumn.
What you thinking?
I loved how Ano-un, not only was it a sacrificial play, but it was also another high battle IQ play when he decided to draw the artifact Time is Strange.
Yep.
And then sacrificed his own body in this world that could interact with its characters so that they could beat it. Autumn, for all the slack that we give Autumn, I will say that design is so clean for phase 3.
Oh yeah.
Creepy. We had the Sakuga animation to finally end the season when the meteorite came in. Fuko on that like witch's broom with Latla and Bax.
Yep.
I really like this one. If I do put it in the A tier, it'd probably be the lowest one.
I agree. Definitely. It definitely deserves A tier. Or high B. Low A, high B. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the winter special that will be coming out winter of 2025, so just in a few months here. Juiz and Spoil versus Billy and Burn.
Billy and Burn.
Billy and Burn.
Where would I put this? I'll say like in the I want to say like in the higher end of B.
I think because of the conversation that you mentioned in a previous live stream between Juiz and Billy and how it concluded, I would agree it's a highest of the B tier for me presently.
Okay.
All right, next up, Shen, Mui, Andy, and Fuko versus Fong.
Heck yes. Wait. I realistically I do like it a lot. I do like it more than Billy, so I would say S for me personally.
I think I do like it more than Union versus Billy, but that makes me think that we've rated the Union versus Billy a tier too high.
It could be, but it could also be like the lowest in S. So
all right, for
I
now,
guess we could just move it to that high A then.
All right, we might move that again, but for now, that's where it shall land. Okay. I love this next fight. So it is Andy, Fuko, Shen, Mui, Tatiana, Top, and Chikara versus Summer.
Yes, that's okay. Definitely A.
I think I like it more than the Spoil fight. I don't think I like it. Do I like it as much as Union versus Billy? I might like it a little bit more.
For me, I'd say I like it more than the Spoil. a little bit more. But that's a great one. It just showed. It was one of those where it just showed how good we can work as a team, and we defeated it in flashing colors. Just so all positives for that. So A tier. You can choose whichever. Since you say highest, I say second. Whichever.
All right, so we'll put it here for now. Fuko and Clothy versus Latla. Sadako and Kane.
Fucking Clothy. Bro, it's just, I mean, same.
There.
Yeah, the same thing like the other one. It's just, it's whatever.
I think C tier.
I would put it like low.
Yeah, the Shen versus Void might be better. Yeah, I'd say the lowest is C tier for this one. Pretty straightforward. It seemed at the time, and also now that we're officially caught up, that Kururu's kind of whole plot line is an afterthought at this time. So please don't dislike the video. But yeah, I don't know why Kane is included, because that's just like getting out of Kane, but you know.
Right.
I would say, well, Clothy, you're starting to get the lowest of the lowest. But on to bigger and better things. So Chop and Chikara versus Creed.
A tier easily.
I love this more than Summer.
I don't.
Why not?
Oh no, I'm tripping. Yeah, I do. I was looking at the wrong thing. I put it the highest A. The reason why I said that, I was thinking Fang for a second. That's why I said that. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I would agree. All right, next up, Andy versus Billy, a spring showdown, which Billy is copying not only Undead, not only Unchange, not only Unbalance. I'm not going to keep going, guys, because I don't remember all of them. But it is All for One versus All Might.
It really is. It really is. Like, I'm just thinking about both. Yeah, they basically were like the same kind of fight.
I think I got to put this in S tier.
Really?
I just love how Andy, he explained to the viewer, but also to Billy near the end, that negator abilities, they get stronger as a singular person gets more experience with it. So if it were not for the fact that Billy had only recently copied Undead, he could have taken it to the next level.
But you know what else too about that? I would say this fight so far out of all of these, it has a lot of meaning to it, because it made Billy start to kind of realize that, oh, I can actually trust people and depend on other people. And remember, I kept saying, like, Andy, like, I love the dialogue. Like, that was the first time I was like, okay, he's really, like, he's speaking facts. I was just agreeing with everything that he said, and it made Billy realize, he was like, you know what? Like, and obviously we learned what Billy was truthfully trying to do, but still, he was still wrong, just like how Juiz was too. They both wanted to do good things overall, but the way that they go about it isn't ideal. So just based off of that, like, the fight actually has a lot of meaning to it. I agree with you. It's definitely in that tier. In that tier.
I personally like this more than Fang, but I will let you decide the ranking of this one.
I think I still like Fang one more. It's just a Dragon Ball head in me, man. It just reminded me. It just gave me nostalgia. I'm like, well, I got nostalgia from this manga. This manga can give you everything, literally.
I respect it. I'm never watched or read Dragon Ball, that will hopefully change this year. But for now, we will put it right where it lies. Okay. Woo! One of my favorite fights in the entire series, just due to the emotions, the finale, the conclusion, whatever you want to say. The Union and Under versus Uma Spring.
In terms of fight, it's kind of hard because it's kind of like the arc as well, in a way.
We had the Beyblade tops made up of Andy and Ishin the 13th.
Yep.
We had the card battle. So that included Fuko getting beat up so that she could touch and thus inflict her unluck onto Spring. And then finally, it was the roll of the dice, even or odd, to finally win the battle versus Uma Spring. This one, again, I have over Fong. I don't know if I have it over Victor, though.
You know what? Yeah, it could be second.
Okay.
Oh boy. This is one of them ones.
This might be the craziest battle move I think I've ever seen from Andy to date. It is Andy versus Thirst, Insect, Gravity, Slice, and Magma.
That was...
What you got to say about this one?
It's like, it's the same thing as like, you know, when people rank or talk about Levi versus the Beast Titan, it wasn't really much of a fight, but people will still hold it as like a S tier fight. That's kind of how I feel about this. It's the same thing. It's at that time, it was like the best that Andy's ever looked, you know, from at that time. And it like, we've already seen him do a whole bunch, but that was wild. What the hell?
He split his blood from his skeleton, from his skin,
to beat all
to
of
defeat each of them individually.
Respectfully. Oh my god, that was wild.
I'm just gonna disregard the rules. Who says I can only have one body? Sir? What are you saying?
Even a dialogue. And then I think, was that the chapter where we quote unquote, or at least we thought that we heard Sun talk or see him speak?
I think it was a little bit afterwards because of the fact that, well, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read that. I think it was after that though.
Or maybe I'm thinking about, they said something about Andy's wrath, or like it's something about like the sun and I forgot. I gotta look back into that now that I think about it, because that might be a huge thing later on now.
And plus the artwork for this particular fight was incredible.
Definitely like the rawest the rawest fight so far, in my opinion.
So where would you put it in S tier?
I personally put it top S. I think it's well,
that good.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, it's hard to say anything bad about it. Like, unless you want to say, oh, there wasn't really much back and forth, but that's not, you know, a fight can still be one-sided.
It can, and my only kind of detriment to this, I don't think it's going to stay at the top of S tier, but my detriment to me just saying it's not like a perfect fight is I didn't really care about the adversaries. And you're right, you don't always have to care about them, but for me, it was just like, okay, these Umas, like, if they get destroyed, I feel like it's more interesting if they were to get destroyed than if they had stayed there and got defeated. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, I would prefer the consequences of what would happen if they were to lose rather than them just getting, you know, respawned.
Right.
Okay. Andy and Lucy versus Seal.
First introduction to the soul stuff.
Now, given the picture that they used for this fight, I'm guessing that they're including all the way up to the Peter Pan-esque soul development of old Andy with the Captain Hook hand coming out of Seal.
Right. Very unique fight, like very different from everything else. So just by that, it has to be.
I'd say A
rather
tier.
high. Yeah.
I think I like it a bit more than Summer.
That's
where I would put it.
Yep.
Union versus
right
Billy. Yeah, I still feel like that one had a little bit more to it. Granted, we haven't seen how this will look in the anime just yet, but
right.
I feel like that spot's appropriate for now.
Ooh.
This emotionally just hurts me to read. So Andy versus Rip and Latla, in which they both get killed at the end of the fight.
It's the same thing like I was saying about Billy and Andy, that it has a lot of meaning into that fight, and this one is another one that has a lot of meaning as well. Emotionally, it just, because you feel for Rip, it's like, okay, like it's one of those things where obviously us as the reader reading it, we're like, okay, it's not what he's doing is like, it's something that everybody would do or feel at some point if your story, if you in real life had a similar situation like him.
Oh yeah.
So you feel for him. You definitely feel for him. And also as a reader, you're in Andy's shoes looking in at it too. So like, I love the perspective. Tezuka really put us into the perspective of both of them, where I feel like so far that will probably be the fight where you can kind of say that for. I mean, of course you can say that for every fight, but that one emotionally, you can really put yourself in the moment of either character. And I think that's one of those things that separates like the greatest fights with just, good fights. So personally,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying
okay. Yeah. One of my favorite aspects about shonen manga in general is when you have the hero fighting a villain, and I put both of those in quotation marks, because you can see the viewpoints and reasoning for both sides. There is no one good answer. Most relevant example, since we were talking about the series earlier, My Hero Academia. Deku versus Gentle. You understand why both characters need to win, and you feel empathetic to both of their causes. Now, the hero, in the traditional sense, did win both of those fights, but I remember thinking at the end of this, I was like, man, I really wanted Rip to win because of how much he cared for Layla, how much he cared for Latla, and how much he didn't care for himself, because he kept cutting off those limbs, putting on Blade Runner. He chopped off his arm at some point, put on like an arm equivalent of Blade Runner. He substituted out his eye for like some telepathic stuff. And that's not even to say like what the hell Andy was doing when he just turned off his brain and went feral mode.
Bruh, I almost forgot about that. When you said that, I immediately just put the whole thing in my head again. I forgot about even Tezuka, even the paneling. You can see how rough it was, because that's
Rip is like, what
IQ
the hell? He turned his brain off. He's just operating on instinct.
So
I think I've talked myself into this being one of the higher S tiers. At first, I was going to say one of the lower ones, but I think I like this one more than Victor.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, Andy, bro, and then that's the second time he did some shit where it's like, bro, what is this guy? He does the craziest shit. Like, when you really think about it, he's done. Like, is there anything now that we haven't seen him do? Like, for a person with his abilities, is this something that you feel like you haven't seen from him yet?
I do. I feel like, and I mentioned this maybe only once previously, but I feel like this has to be the next level of attack or just interpretation of this world. There has to be something with like binary code. He's going to have like a code attack versus Sun or Luna, because this is as far as we can tell, somewhat of a video game-esque simulation. And we all know the underlying structure or the molecular structure of those type of worlds is binary code. I feel like he's just going to turn into ones and zeros at some point in the future and just do like a binary strike.
He would fuck up change. Like horribly.
She's like, I can change the physical body. And Andy's like, I can change the game.
Yeah, that, and he's insane. But yeah, definitely high S. Like, definitely.
Now, I did put it behind the Uma Battle Royale because I just loved that trifold attack more. How do you feel about that?
I agree with that.
All right, next up is an interesting one. I feel like we're going to have our first difference of opinion here, but maybe not. I think you've kind of grown to like this more in hindsight than you did initially, but Andy versus Nico and Uma Ghost.
The thing is, though, I like the fight more than like his action, like his decision.
Oh,
of course,
okay.
That's a part of it, though. But like,
yeah,
as a fight, I was like, oh shit, what the hell does he got going on in here, man? What is this? These astral dolls and what's going on? I think is. What would you rank it?
All right, let me take a look at a couple of these fights. Personally, I would have it second highest of A.
Second highest of A. I was thinking third, but you could put it second.
The Union versus Billy. Yeah, just kind of similar to what we were talking about with Rip and Latla, how it had more of an emotional type of aspect to it. I really felt for Nico in this moment. He has the worst negator ability, and it is not close. So because of that, I just have to give him a little bit of a boost just for his own sanity and put him there. Okay, next up, Billy, Tatiana, Andy, and Fuko versus Uma Ruin. I'll let you talk about this one first, since I know you love this one.
Billy, man, Billy GOAT. That was just, in terms of moments, like if we do a moments tier list, that's an S tier moment, and it would be so goddamn high. That's like the dialogue alone. Like that was crazy, and then like learning about like the conditions of his ability and whatnot, about like, you know, the whole affection thing, and then the despising, like it just worked perfectly against Ruin. That was like, I didn't even expect us to get a moment like that at the time with Billy solely at the end of the fight, but that's just S tier to me. I where to rank it.
It's got to be the top of, near the top of S. The reason why I love this fight so much is, I don't know if you remember, is that the chapter that we read before he got unruined, there was so much going on in the background. And I remember we had like almost a 20 or 30 minute conversation about this one chapter of this fight, because Billy, he didn't have undead at this point. And then, like you said, his ability, it doesn't work if the person that he stole the ability from in this loop didn't view him as a threat.
Yep.
He had that tender moment between himself and Fuko/Tatiana. I can't steal your abilities because I know you two are too kind to ever view me as a threat. And then he was over the comms telling Chikara and Top like he had betrayed them, or he was the one that had killed Tatiana.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you add on top of that his absolute shit talking against Ruin and this humiliation that I'm going to show you. And he saved Tatiana. I remember tearing up at that point. I was like, that is one of the best manga pull-ups. To me, this has got to be the highest.
I wouldn't even disagree with you with that. Like, it's like that's how I felt at the time too. That was like literally like one of the coolest moments I've seen. I think I even said that too back then. I was like, that's genuinely like my favorite moment in the manga. Overall, like what you just said, saving Tatiana, going on the comms, telling Top and was it Ishin or
Top and Chikara.
Chikara, yeah. And overall it was yes. Yes, just
okay.
yes.
All right. Here it goes. All right, next up, again, Jui seems to be having a theme with a lot of her fights. This is more so of an emotional bout than anything else, but Juiz versus Victor in the flashback as she tells Fuko kind of what happened last loop or many loops ago.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was the previous loop. Okay.
Since it's, I guess we'll just have to put it around where Juiz versus Axe, even though it's more, obviously is a lot more important to the story, but it's in that tier, I would just say. Because it wasn't really much of a fight.
I think I might like it more than Andy and Fuko versus Victor because of the disappointment that I felt.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good spot.
Okay.
Oh boy, that's just the top S. Like that's easy.
Do we really have to explain this one?
That's like in the series type of fighting there.
And to this day, I really want to commend Tozuka for giving us a preview of the final battle without actually giving it to us. Because we were so underpowered in this fight, it did not matter that we were pulling off shit that we had never done before. Chikara losing his limbs, Bax dying because she was cooked alive in the suit.
Bruh.
Just, oh my god. And then like the countdown to where Fuko was going, that might be the best chapter in the series.
You know something? It gave me like, I don't want to spoil it for people, but it gave me like Infinity Castle vibes.
Infinity War.
Like,
no.
Okay. Well, both technically. more closely, like you just said, is closer to Infinity War. Like literally, it really is. But it reminded me of Infinity Castle in terms of like, I didn't expect certain things to turn. I mean, obviously, I expected us to like lose, but just the desperation and just like like from characters that you wouldn't even think would even go to, like Chikara, the fact that he fell from that was wild.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
In most series, when it comes to stuff like this, it's more so like a nightmare or like a vision somebody has of like what might happen, but they end up fixing this or it doesn't happen. But no, this literally happened. They died. They fought and died. The whole timeline or the whole loop is gone. Now we're on to a new loop. So like you said, I'm glad that Tezuka gave us like a foreshadowing of what it would look like in the actual end game. But technically this wasn't end game too. It literally was for that loop. So I like that a lot because it's not like it was a fake nightmare or nothing. No, it was a real thing.
It actually happened.
And that's crazy. Like, man, I can't wait to see reactions to that from people. Oh my god.
You want to talk about Demon Slayer doing numbers? If David Productions can get the time to properly give us that end of world, end of the loop fight versus Sun, that is going to do numbers.
Imagine the cliffhanger for that. Like,
I don't know. I feel like you got to go up at least until Ano Un.
I thought so too.
As Fuko says, I can't let you do that. I'm here to save you. And then just the end of the season.
It would be also like crazy if it stopped when she was crying.
Everyone, and then the planet blows up.
No, well, that and a little after that, like where Luna was talking to her, and obviously the years went by, even though it only
we
felt
will
like
negate
minutes.
you, gods.
Yeah, so that people were like, "Whoa, what the fuck what's going to happen next? Like next season, whoa, what's Fuko going to do? Can she even like what is she going to do? Like that would really, because that's how I felt. I was like, what will Fuko do? But obviously, we still read the next chapter or two, so we already kind of got the gist. Oh, she actually been doing pretty good over these the 200 years and whatnot. But like, if you stop it there, anime only is going to be like, bro, what is she going to do? But yeah, so top S for sure.
Okay. Next up, a little bit of a typo on this one, but I'm pretty sure I know what this fight is. So this is going to be Fuko versus Heat with some assistance from Nico. So Fang is not included on, I think, the first part of this fight.
Yeah.
So this is where we get the revelation that her unluck can now be distributed to non-human targets, and she's a gunslinger now.
That was fire. That was just fire.
That was fire.
You know what? I would say it has the same impact that the very first fight. So her and Andy versus the Hunters. It has like a similar effect to that, in my opinion. But obviously, it's higher.
I think maybe maybe above Juiz versus Victor.
Yeah.
Because I still feel like I love the kind of the intricacies of the Brazilian yacht boat fight against Rip and Latla.
I agree.
But man, Fuko is just a girl boss in this loop.
Hell yeah.
Okay, next up, it is going to be Fuko and Heat versus Fang. Go ahead.
Personally, like that's one of those another ones, but that's just raw. It's raw. Like seeing Fuko using the damn technique. Come on, man. And then she said, "I learned this from your student. My master is your student, basically." Like what? He was like,
Fang's
"What?
Like, what the hell?
What are you talking about? I don't got no goddamn students. Not like, or at least that I don't even care about. Like, no, hell no. That's raw. Like, it's in the A tier. I don't care where you put it, but me personally, it's in A tier. Yeah.
I think seeing Fuko kind of take into account for that was her first real fight. She has trained up her body to such an extent that she can go mano a mano fisticuffs with a martial arts master because she has been training for hundreds of years.
Yep.
My only issue with this fight, it doesn't currently have any emotional aspect to it. I guess maybe the one part of it to where it could be considered a little bit emotional is when she is kind of looking off into the distance and thinking about Andy, thinking about Shen, of what it's took to get up to this point.
Right.
I would say
it has really good meaning though.
Lower A tier for me.
I agree. Thing is too that I like about it is that she like kind of like what I said earlier when we were doing the reaction or the discussion for the chapter of how like her approach to everybody, and like she literally turned that man to a mother. That's a weird sentence to say, but he turned that man to a mother, and it's like it was. I didn't even expect that was wild. Like, it has a lot of meaning in that aspect, and also for Fang's growth. It literally set it
set him on a path.
It kickstarted it, yeah, which is crazy because once we see him, I mean, we've been seeing him more cordial with us little by little, but by like the end of, because we think he's gonna die in the end. So like by the end of his life, like just think Fuko set him on that path.
Yeah, I think he's going to look back on his life when he does finally get close to dying. I think he'll probably die in Ragnarok. or fighting like maybe Soul or Uma Death. But there's just something to say about a hard crusted individual who finally starts to open up or finally starts to acknowledge their true feelings.
Yep.
Again, that's another aspect of just shonen in general that I love to see. So I know we've talked a lot about this fight and its kind of meaning for Fang and how that works for him moving forward. But to give it a ranking, I would say maybe above Spoil.
I agree. Bro, he literally, like, the more and more I think about it, he really is Dragon Ball coded. Like, there's certain villains in there that's like, you know, villains. Yeah, but they slowly over time changed based off of their interactions with people. But they're not typically a person you would think would, but they do. And he's literally like that. I remember way back in his arc, I was like, bro, this dude is garbage in terms of like, just like, dude, you killing your students and make it like, bruh, hell no. But as you can see, I'm like a big fan of him now. It's kind of similar how some Dragon Ball villains were. Like, I'm like, bro, I hate this guy. Wait a minute, actually, I kind of like him.
You're all right.
It's
You're
like
all right.
The evilness turns into like a gag in a way. I kind of like those characters. It's kind of funny to me.
Okay.
It's like, oh, they're a villain, and then they turn into like, they're still like mean and like act how they act, but it's more of a gag because they're a friend now, essentially. I always like those kind of villains. And they're still badass, so it all works out.
Fair enough. All right, next up we have Gina and Fuko versus Autumn. So Gina is One Piece level because she can split the sky. I love the aspect of this fight being a buildup of a continuation of the previous loop's fight with Gina. And one thing that we consistently say about My Hero, and sorry for all the analogies to it, but we also react to it on the channel, and it's one of our favorite series. But one thing that we consistently say about My Hero is it's not necessarily about the fights themselves, it's more so about the impact of the fights or the emotions behind the fights. And I feel like that mentality does work wonders on this fight because Fuko was able to tell Gina and the audience, again, that the negator abilities, they are primarily affected by the strength of your heart. And the tsundere-esque aspect of Loop 100 Gina saying, well, you beat me, Fuko. We were rivals in love, but now we are on the same team, going in the same direction. So I'll teach you, Loop 101 Gina, how to defeat Autumn. I remember the artwork for this went crazy.
Man. Insane.
In the rain, you see Gina's, like unchanged, just holding it back. I love this fight.
I put it in B tier. And
I put it the highest.
Highest?
Maybe second highest.
Yeah, I agree.
I forgot how much I like the conversation between Julius and Billy.
Ooh.
Okay. Next up, Fuko versus Void, and they are actually boxing it out.
For real. Fuko got them hands, man. I feel like in the anime it would be even better. I don't know. That's just a feeling. I don't know. This is a prediction.
Oh, I feel like David Productions is going to
sound design, bruh.
You're going to hear
sound design with boxing? Man.
Stop it.
I mean, I'd probably put this also in B tier. Impact, I mean, it was mostly, I'll put it ahead of the Rip Creed Fang Latlet, the yacht arc, the
I mean, sure. I think it's in a similar spot. I might like it a little bit less than the yacht arc fight because this was literally just boxing. There wasn't a lot of choreography involved with it. Although the Dempsey roll was cool.
Yes.
I love the.
So I got it in it.
Okay.
Just based off it.
All right. I'll let us put it there for now then. Okay. And this is why I had that kind of like, whatchamacallit, the preface before we started this that they had a lot of fights in here that weren't quite fights. And that applies perfectly to the Union versus Sean.
Yeah,
they were literally just capturing him.
Yeah, so just put it D.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not.
I like it just a little bit higher than Clothy Battle because this did introduce us to the fact that souls have an aspect in this world. They are moving some people up. Yep. They're moving some people down. But all right, so I've moved that down a little bit more. All right, next up we have the Union versus Creed's Squadron.
Ooh, this is a nice one.
Trust me, brother.
It's nice because we got like a good showcasing of everybody at one time, and we hadn't had that, well, obviously since Ragnarok, but it was fire, man. I like that.
This was the first point in time that I was like, okay, Sean, Tozuka might be cooking with this man.
Yep.
Feel B is fair.
I put it. Honestly, I put second.
First, Gina? A second? Okay.
Because going into it, we thought it was going to be like amazing, and it was still great. But like at the time,
this one was a little bit disappointing
in the end.
Yeah.
But like I would say for most of it, I really enjoyed it though.
Oh, definitely.
Now this one. More emotion.
Union versus Billy and Tella.
Emotion and impact.
And also, the powers manifesting with a different interpretation than the previous loop. So that was a fun little twist.
I feel like, I don't know, where would I put this? Either the lowest A, I think, like,
or the highest B.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, do I like it more than? You know what? That's kind of tough. It really can be either or.
You know what? Let me do this. I'm going to move this up because we keep saying, like, we love the Billy and Burn versus Juice and Spoil fight. Plus, I forgot that they were also, like, combo moving to where Spoil hit Billy, like, Burn was trying to hop in. There was a kaiju fight. So let me move that up. But I will put this at the top of B now.
And plus, it is special. I mean, we just learned that the winter arc, like, that's being promoted solely, like, just the winter arc for the anime.
So you know they're gonna go off on that.
Yeah.
Bill and Union space crew versus the aliens, the tardigrade creatures.
That entire thing was very fun. It reminded me of like Invincible.
Yes.
Let's see. I'll let you do it because I know you really like it.
I do love this one. I would probably put it A tier.
Okay.
And then in the A tier, Truthfully, above Billy. Union versus Billy. Because I love that in Truster. I love that it introduced, this is the only artifact and the perfect artifact for Phil. I love that the tardigrades were essentially invincible. I love that it was based off of emotion. So it was tied into the story that Phil did still have emotions. And that's why they were going after him.
It is a very different fight from everything, too. Yeah, it did not.
For sure. For sure. It had more of an emotional aspect to it than a lot of these other fights. So yeah, I would say above Union versus Billy, but not as much as Andy versus Nico and Ghost.
I agree. The funny thing is too is like when we talk about emotions, like all these other fights have like crazy emotions, but this one like literally
it's based off its of thing. That's its thing. Okay, so Void, Yusai, Billy, and Mui versus Shen. So I guess the first half of the tournament, they're including that as one fight.
It was like, God damn, this guy is crazy. Like, what the hell? It was shocked. Like, what the hell is going on?
This dude. And I guess we can have a slight tangent here. How do you feel about the fact that Shen's ability is the one that Fuko's like, just deal with it? Like, you're better with this ability than you are without it. And it doesn't really have that much of a downside to it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when we were doing the about the negator abilities, where I felt that his personally, it's not, it can be bad, like really bad, but it's not that bad. Granted, he's, this has to do with like fighting for your literal life in the fucking world, but so it's going to be pretty tough. But when you really think about it, the only reason why it was so tough for him is because he's going against people that he has connections to or relationship to. But if he goes against somebody that he doesn't necessarily, but he kind of like has that kind of like when we first met him in the series, like that is basically how like he didn't really have too many issues early on. Like when we seen him get spoiled and we learned about the conditions of his ability with the whole affection thing. Like, that's pretty much the basis of his ability, and it was going to essentially stay that way. So, it's really not that much of an issue overall. So, I agree with Fuko, basically.
Fair enough.
I think you need that. You can't just have it where, like, everybody's ability is just so goddamn crazy. The trauma is ridiculous. Well, not just trauma, but, like, the abilities and their conditions. Like, some should be like worse than others, and it kind of just I think to me it kind of shows that Fuko, she knows what she's talking about and knows what she's doing, and I like that. I don't want because we already have a lot of MCs that kind of just wing stuff, and I like that Fuko already has like her own I guess what's the word? Or I just say prediction of how certain abilities will manifest. Like even with the Tatiana stuff recently in 1-on-1. I've just been agreeing. I agree with most of her approach so far. There may have been like one or two I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that'll go. But most of them I'm like, oh yeah, I agree.
And that's interesting because I feel like a lot of MCs, especially the goody two shoes, like cinnamon roll ones, they are always trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And with Fuko's approach, I feel like she very much takes it on a case-by-case basis. So I agree. I love the personalized approach that she takes to recruiting members. And even in this specific chapter that we just read today, because that's the only way to connect with people is if you personalize it. If you just have a cookie cutter approach, you're not going to win over their hearts.
Nope.
So for this fight, the only downside for me is that Billy got one-shotted. I just hate that.
Initially I was thinking that too, but I was like, you know what? Like when you really think about everybody's abilities, that can happen to anybody.
It could. I just hate it for my man.
But I don't think it changes anything though. Like Billy's still Billy. It's just he's in his house.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
I think that was just kind of, and just to showcase Shin again, which I don't mind because originally Shin was that guy, and I hope that he can become that guy again towards the end. A little sooner though. Because
Please
him and
utilize him a
Mui
little bit
hasn't
more.
done shit since then.
No,
They just
it's
be
so
hanging
sad.
out and just like off screen or like on the side of a panel, just hanging out in the back. Like I don't. What's the last dialogue they had? The hell? I don't remember.
It was when the meteor came down when they were stargazing, right?
I think, and then, like you see, that's not like that's like whatever. You know, it's just a whatever. Like, oh, okay. Just seeing what they're doing. Oh, okay. You're
It's kind of
chilling.
crazy they haven't been on a mission since.
You know what? And this is a slight little tangent, but I think that's the one thing that I need more from the series is seeing other POVs of people just talking about everything. Because we're always like on these tasks. I feel like there needs to be like, well, I can't say that there should be a little downtime because I mean, look what's going on. We're like in a game, a simulation essentially. But I kind of still want it a little. The downtime is usually during these like quests or not quests, but like when we recruit these people, like for example, Chikara, the school, that was pretty much like a downtime type situation. But I need more POV. Like I need to see Shin and Mui like talking. I need to see other characters seeing what they're doing on just a regular basis. I don't need to always see Fuko all the time.
Leading a
Like
crew.
yeah, because when we really think about it, like you know how they always have those like page counts of like how many times you've seen whatever character, and usually the MC obviously is like the top. I feel like Fuko, she's been like we see her a lot, and you
Yeah,
should,
Loop
but a
101,
little
she
too
might be
much.
like 95%.
Yeah,
Like, just bump it down like 5%.
literally. Like, and I think we just need to shift POVs more often. That'll be like one of my only complaints, and it's not that bad, but it's still a complaint.
I mean, it sucks for Shen because I want to like him more, and I thought we were finally getting that with Summer, and then again with this arc. But in terms of these like actual, fights between Void, Yusai, Billy, and Mui, it's underwhelming, and I hate to feel that way because Shen is a really cool character.
Here's hoping that there's build up to it.
I hope so
Because like his dream is so lit. Like that's one of the reasons why I like them a lot. I'm like, oh, he's shooting for the stars.
Strongest in all creation is a hell of a goal.
I hope he can get there, but I don't know. It's looking like no.
Yeah. For me, I would personally have this in the C tier. It didn't do anything for me.
Fine.
It didn't leave a lasting impression.
Yeah, it was quick anyway.
I guess maybe
I definitely put it above Shin and Void for sure.
Yeah, but not much higher. Like I could go either way. I'll let you put it either above
I
or
put it
below
top.
the Union.
I put it top of C. I'll give respect to him because it was just kind of showcasing him. So that was like kind of the point. I know it might be a little cheap in a way, like the way you look at it, especially when you're talking about Billy, but
it's fine. I don't care either way.
This is a showcasing of how strong he is currently at that time without his ability at that.
All right. So the next one is a continuation of the martial arts tournament, and this time it is the finale or the special bout between Shen and Fang.
It was kind of like how the first one went, but where would you put it?
Maybe about the middle of B. I did like how Fang was starting to reminisce about
that part.
The previous lives that he's lived and how he has not yet found a student to pass on his knowledge and tutelage to. My complaint with this fight and then just kind of that arc in general is it seemed way too easy that they were able to prevent the tragedy that was going to befall Shen. And then I thought it was kind of cheeky, but I did like it of how Fang lost the battle is because he wanted to continue fighting, but Shen was able to use his untruth ability to keep him out of the ring for the count out.
You know what? Now I'm starting to kind of realize what's the problem with Shin's character. I feel like that storyline is one of those that I feel like every series has like these side characters that have like really good arc. Like for example, right, the Todoroki family stuff. Once again, my hero analogy,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's really good. Obviously, we both agree. It's like okay, Horikoshi, you can stop a
Spread the
little
love a
bit,
little bit.
but we can all agree that it's a positive. It is a positive storyline. I feel like the Fang and Shin one, it doesn't have to be dramatic like that, like just clashing all the way through. But we need more emphasis. We need more, once again, dialogue from Shin, because this is a thing that Fuko set up. And in the end, obviously, we're going to see Shin surpass Fang and all this stuff, and passing on the baton to the next generation and whatnot. And I think that I don't feel like it's going to be that satisfying in the end, because we don't get a lot of dialogue between the two, or them training, or this and that. Like, we need more of that.
You know what's funny? For every aspect of any interaction between Shen and Fang, I like Fang more and more, and I like Shen less and less.
Same. And it wasn't like that in the beginning. It was the complete opposite.
It was not. And like, granted, I love Fang now, but it becomes more glaring that Shen is just an underutilized and underdeveloped character.
I'm kind of upset.
And
it's
it
like
sucks.
all for one to Shigaraki, huh? He just keep taking the spotlight.
I mean,
He said, "I'm still here. I'm still here."
All right, so where are we ranking this? I think B tier, maybe about the middle.
It's ahead of Fuko versus Void, slightly. It has more impact. Yeah, it has more impact than that by far. So to me, that edges it out.
I'll put it there, but I personally don't agree. That's fine. It's within the same tier. It's not a big deal.
And it's like hands. It's hands with more impact. That's how I look at it.
I just like the artwork more for the Fuko versus Void fights. That was what gave it the edge for me. For sure. And Fuko using her hair whip again. But moving on. Okay, Chikara and the Union High Schoolers versus Uma Color. I have a strong opinion about this.
It's I don't think it's like top tier at all, but
I don't either.
I like the it's one of those ones where I just like the IQ that went into it. Like, it was cool. Like, the end result is cool, but it's not like a crazy fight, good fight. It's decent.
True. My issue is that they had a singular line that was never expanded upon. Nico, I think, was talking on the comms, and he was like, be on the lookout for any color-based threats or something along those lines, to where Uma Color theoretically should have been much stronger. It shouldn't have just been a chase. It shouldn't have been a cat and mouse game. It should have been Uma Color would be able to utilize the color of the world to fight back. And it never did. I love that Chikara was given the option. Hey, join the Union. Don't join the Union. Do whatever you want. But man, Uma Color might be so disappointing. I really hope they expand upon this in the anime.
It kind of reminds me of I don't remember. In the Endeavor training arc, the
Prophet.
No, I forgot. I really forgot. The shit that was like taking the paint off the road. Was it during that?
Oh yeah.
Where you saved.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there should have been more environmental aspects to that fight, and it just never was expanded upon. Granted, I don't really like that arc in general, so I'm not holding this in too high of a regard, but it should have been a bigger finale to kind of like the slice of life aspect of that section of the story.
I think this is another thing too. It's funny that we're talking. I don't know how the fight and stuff gets us to talk about a whole bunch of stuff in the series, because we always like credit it to Zuka and saying that he does such a good job. I think the problem is like Tezuka is like a buffet. Has so many things to satisfy everybody, but sometimes there are things that just isn't up to par. Like I feel that the reason why some of this pacing and like I think the reason why we didn't get that, what you're saying, is because of how he's pacing the manga. It's not too fast or too slow, but sometimes I think he just wants to satisfy everybody and make sure he gets to like the next person and have them do something, and the next person, because that easily could have been longer. And I think Tezuka knows that. Like what you're saying, I think he knew that. It's just he wanted to get to something else.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it honest with you guys. There was not enough focus on this, and there was more focus on other things that I just didn't care about. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but kind of going back to the Shen thing, I feel like that was drawn out too long, and this was short. So, long story short, I think this should be in the C tier.
Yeah,
I don't really care. Probably the lowest. Maybe slightly higher than the Latla, Kuru, and Kane fight, but I honestly don't care.
I'll just put it above that slightly, right. I guess.
Ooh. So, much like Tezuka, we are moving on. It is going to be Rip, Latla, Layla, the Union, and Andy's clone from the Sun versus Uma.
That shit was sick. Wicked sick.
Wicked sick. The very first Master Rule or Premium Rule or whatever you want to call them, the Superior 10 versus our crew. And we just barely won off of a technicality.
I kind of feel like, I think it's 100% like a high A. I almost want to consider it S just because of the situation at hand. Like, we needed Andy's help. We see how strong Andy is, and like just in general. And then obviously the Master Rules right after that. But and then Rip and honestly, it might be S tier. There's a lot in that. Like, there's a lot going on. Rip, Latla, Layla stuff.
So let's talk about this. So Uma's sick is in a developed phase 2 or 3 form. He is single-handedly using his juniors to affect the entirety of the hospital. So he's got a home court advantage. We have the aspect of cores being reintroduced, or at least emphasized in this fight, because when he was split in half from the split attack of Rip and Latla, Fuko was saying go on either side. He was able to keep up with the changing aspect of the battlefield to where he attacked the crack in Gina's unchanged sphere when Fuko was trying to perform the surgery on Layla. I thought the hair was going to fall on Layla. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. She had it pinned up, but there was this random slice that came in from outside of her field of view, and that was going to kill Layla. So glad that didn't happen. But then we have Andy come down. He have a quick little 1 minute, I'm going to destroy you before this clone dissipates. And then he stuffed Sick in a blender. Literally.
It was too much. It was so much going on in that shit. Like, in a good way. It was just
chaotic.
It really was. Like, it's hard for me to say. Like, I don't know. What do you think? Because I'm having trouble thinking like low S or high A.
So it's tough to grade because I love the Top and Chikara fight versus Creed. That just showed that is a formidable duo. Creed was not, bowing out either. Mm-hmm. I would say I probably like the Sick fight more than Andy versus Nico and Ghost. But I don't know. It's kind of strange. If anything, I'd probably move up the Top and Chikara fight, but then keep this as like the top A.
I like it more than Top and Chikara. I mean, well, no, I don't. No, I don't. because Top and Chikara, that was like legitimately once again raw. I think it's just in terms of the story, the second one, it was just like that's a master rule. The first one, maybe that's
it did not disappoint.
Yeah, it was like he literally just 1v'd everybody. Like what the hell? And then Andy, like it was a lot of new shit that came up. He came out of nowhere. Andy came back out of nowhere. Like a lot of shit just happened. Like it didn't, like it changed like the scale of everything too. Once again.
Oh yeah, like we definitely leveled up the story.
Like I feel like based off of that, it did too much for it to like for me personally to think that it's not an S. Like it's done so much. It did so much. Introduce a master rule, Andy's return. Like, I don't know. And it was during the rip and lap.
That you like the Top and Chikara fight more though?
Yeah. Matter of fact, man, put both of them S, man.
Okay. I will put the sick fight at the very bottom of S tier though. Yeah. But I will put it in S tier. So this is a little bit covered.
Because I do think there's a gap between those and Andy Nico.
Yeah.
Not like much of a gap, but to me, there's like a little gap there. Oh, I was just about to say that. I'm going to say we can't see.
It's not perfect, but it is what it is.
No, it's better. Yeah.
Who's
this? Oh, the cook, the engine. For what it was, it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it did its thing. It again, this isn't like a traditional fight in the series, but we have the Union Cooks versus Engine, a ramen battle of tasteful proportions.
I would say, and plus it had a nice impact to it. And then in the end with his mom, I think that I'll add that to it too.
Him having the tears when he finally tasted a dish that was better than himself.
Yep.
Fuko having that tie back to her time in Under, where she built up some really solid relationships off panel.
I'll put it above. Oh, wait. I mean, because it was about, it was a competition. It's like a fight. So, based off of that, and it had emotion. I'll put it behind Fuko and the Fuko and Fang, the Heat one. Below that. Or, yeah, I'll put it below it.
Yeah, that's a perfect spot for it. I agree. Okay.
I remember.
Fuko and Gina, Sean and Mui. I don't even think Mui was in that fight, so I think that's a little bit of a lie. But versus Gold and Platinum. Now, aesthetically, those are incredible.
Yep.
Fight-wise,
yeah,
not so much.
I'll just let you put it. It's just whatever. Which is fine.
I don't know, either C tier or the lowest to B.
Like, I'm glad we can still get stuff like that later in the series.
Everything doesn't have to be a world-breaking or a Master Rules fight for me to be like, okay, I got some enjoyment out of this. But
it's like superhero stuff where they're just like, blocking up a normal street level villain. Like, we still got to see the heroism going on. Just like with this, we still got to see the regular Umas doing their thing and getting beat.
I'd probably say a little bit above Shen Void for me.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I agree.
Okay, an interesting and another different type of fight. We have a fencing battle between Fuko and Julia.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I like this one. It was pretty solid.
It too.
I think low B is probably good for it.
Yeah, it's like the typical like student versus master thing, or before you they officially become the student of somebody. Like, I'm gonna test you out. Okay, if you can hit me one time, then I will consider that kind of thing. So it's typical, but it is a little slightly different for the circumstances. But yeah, I agree with you.
What are you thinking? Maybe under Engine?
Yeah.
All right, we're agreeing on a lot of these placements here, so this is moving at a pretty good pace. Granted, this is a long list, so.
Ooh.
All right, so
Damn, the
next
next
up.
three kind of fire. Hold on, I didn't even think about that.
So first off, we have Andy versus the 10 superior rules
That's true.
within the negative space. Agreed.
Where is it up there? Ooh, where is it?
This is tough because that form and ability of Andy to utilize his soul versus the literal embodiment of the power that is also the battery that powers all of the other 10 superior rules.
Second. It's either second or third for sure, because it's literally a step up from Andy and 100 against Gravity and all of them. It's like that, but higher. So, yeah, it has to be second, I think. Or third, like I said.
I think third, only because I would have wanted a little bit more dialogue or, kind of crap talk from Andy.
Well,
even though he did his thing, a lot of the Umas,
he is kind of different.
There.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
He can't speak, right? Like, technically he can't. He's
well, yeah, his vocal cords are all singed.
Yeah. That made it more intimidating. I'm like, whoa. Like, that was a different feel from Andy. I'm like, I never felt that. It was weird. It was a weird feeling in the good way.
But I will say Billy did his damn thing in that Ragnarok arc.
He did.
So for me, I would put this below Ruin, but I'll let you have the final say.
It's tough because both, I got like the same feelings from both. Like,
one guy versus like someone who thinks they're a little bit better than they actually are.
Yeah. You know what though? In a way, this is not necessarily a problem because I still enjoy Andy being that strong. But in a way, when I first read it, I was kind of like, damn, though. It's not like he's fucking them up bad. Like, it's just that he's soloing them. And that kind of, I'm not going to lie, that kind of made me put them a little lower. Even though we didn't really see, they didn't go in their different phases or nothing like that. But
No, I get what you're saying.
I agree with you. Just because this, off the principle of Billy, that whole thing is just, it just works.
That was his best moment versus, I don't think this was Andy's like true peak, if that makes sense.
Right.
He can still get better.
Yep. And so can they. So I guess it works.
Absolutely. All right. Top.
Ooh.
Haruka, Fuko, and Julia, kind of, versus Uma Beast in his Phase 3 unbreakable form.
It's kind of the same opinion I had about the last one we were talking about with Andy. Where same thing with the Top and Chikara versus Creed. I feel like this one is a step up from that. Because Beast was just, bruh. And then the whole soul stuff, Fuko. It's like a mix of Andy and Lucy against Seal mixed with Top and Chikara versus Creed. All in one. And we took him out. Like, and then Ishin, yeah, that was 100%. Like, it's really good. Hello? I can't hear you. No. I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, no. 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 Twitchy. Internet stuff. My bad, y'all. If anybody's in chat, I don't think people are in chat right now. But if you're watching this stream, obviously, or the playback. he will be back. He'll be back in a second. Twitchy is now on the scene. No, Twitchy. Hey, hey. Well, at least we got through with like 99% of it. Just in case if it if it's over, but he'll be back in a second. Hang on there, guys. Sunday, August 4th. Pretty good day so far, I'd say. No. How's the weather? How's the weather, guys? The weather out here is pretty fair. Fair weather. Settle about like 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh yeah, I know. I'm not on the camera right now because my phone ends up getting hot when it's on because that's what I used to as my camera, so it gets real hot after a while. So we had it turned off. Unless you're saying I'm not like also like my little profile pic is not on the screen, that's kind of funny. If you just seen a black screen and just hearing my voice, that's funny. But I just want to remind you guys, this summer/fall, going into the winter next year, we got a lot more content coming out. We got Squid Game coming out later this year. We got Bleach coming back. We're gonna react to Haikyuu for all the Haikyuu folks out there. We got a lot of stuff in the backlog, like One Piece live action that we still have to drop, Avatar live action. Still got to finish up Pluto, uploading that. Scott Pilgrim. Still need that out. And let's see what else is there. We're gonna do Go Loser Ranger. We're gonna record that this upcoming week. Don. We got that coming up. There's a lot of content, so we're trying to get out different stuff for you guys for like live action, anime, manga, all that kind of stuff. When Invincible comes back next year, of course, Demon Slayer, when the movies drop, we'll be reacting to that. Chainsaw Man movie later this year, we'll react to that. What else is there? There's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. Vinland, when that comes back, Hell's Paradise. You guys know what's on the channel. But in terms of the stuff that we still got to do The Boys eventually as well. There's something else I'm missing. Oh, Arcane. That's what it is. So Arcane, definitely going to get into that. I can't wait for that, man. I cannot wait. Sakamoto Days, yep. Fire Force as well. So we're just trying to give you guys a lot of content, man. Should be fun. It should be fun. A lot of content. Oh, Chainsaw Man won't be this year? Okay. I don't know why I kept thinking it was going to be like October. Maybe because I was thinking about when we first started the channel, when we first did Chainsaw Man. I don't know. My mind just kept thinking October. But even when it comes out here in the States, then yeah, probably be. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's releasing everywhere at once. I don't think so. I think Demon Slayer is. I'm not sure if Chainsaw Man is. But yeah, you're right. Next year, either way. 2025, man. Damn. That's a weird year to say. I know I'm just yapping, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just I'm just trying to entertain as much as I can right now. But stay tuned, because tomorrow, Twitchy. He's going to be reading One Piece, the manga. So he's going to start from chapter 1092, I believe. And yeah, he's going to start from there. And I believe finished at 1102. Wait, 1102? I forget. We just talked about it recently. But yeah, he's going to do some, he's going to do catch-up streams. A couple streams for that. Yep, Lauren. So I wonder, since it's like a 1 hour special and they're saying it's for the winter arc, I wonder how much, like, what they're gonna add to that. That's gonna be pretty interesting to see. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be really cool. Unless unless we start seeing some of the other stuff that's going on too after that, I guess. No news on Chainsaw Man movie. Okay. Shangri-La Frontier. I heard about that series. We probably checked it out. We'll probably add that to the list. Because eventually we're gonna at some point we're gonna try to like get into a lot of stuff. Mostly seasonal stuff from like recent years, because it is a task to like watch a lot of episodes of stuff from like the past. But granted, there's not like a lot of shows, a lot of series that have something like that, but we're definitely gonna do a lot of seasonal things. So pretty much anything from like the last 10 years we'll probably get into more. Dragon Ball Daima, I wasn't really planning on watching that, but I might end up watching it on my own time. Since Dragon Ball is my OG, I'll probably check that out. Yo. Hello.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright. I'm Bets.
I'm Bex. Alright. So I don't remember what I was saying. So do you want to just continue with this one on what you feel?
So yeah, I was saying it reminded me of the Chikara and Top versus Creed / Seal versus Andy and Lucy. Like I had, with the soul stuff, it reminded me of like a mixture of both of those fights. Obviously with Ishin and Unbreakable and Top, like it, like I would say that was probably, for me personally, it had been a minute since we got something like that from characters where we learn more about them, and at least in this loop, we learn more about them, like
Sure.
two characters at once, and kind of like more about the world in general, like with the soul stuff and the predecessors of these negator abilities, and yeah. So I would say for me personally, I would put it in S tier. And plus Beast, he was just ridiculous.
And that was actually a problem.
Yeah, and that was the first Master Rule that we defeated. That was crazy. I thought it was going to take more than that based off of what happened against Sick.
Yeah. I think S tier is a good place. Where in it, though?
I'll put it ahead of... I think it's around Victor versus Union. I just don't know if I'll put it ahead or below.
I think emotionally, even though the fight wasn't as good, which I know this is a tier list about fight, guys, I feel like I still prefer the spring fight over this. Not by a lot.
I'm the opposite. Just because, like, it was something, like, we even talked about Ishin, for example. Like, let's get more from her, and we did. I'm glad that we did. And Top. And it was, like, the first time we really seen Fuko really up against the ropes.
For the first time, yeah.
Like, where you could say, like, oh, she got the MC ass pull. Even though it wasn't like a bad ass pull. It's not like that, but just to show how dire the situation was, I was like, okay, yep. Yep.
All right, so I will put it right above spring then. Oh, God. We got too many.
For real. Damn, there's a lot of S tier fights, like, genuinely.
And so much of it is from seasons like 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Not to say that the recent stuff hasn't been great, because it has. Spoiler alert for the next couple. But honestly, it just gets better from season 1 onwards.
Yep. Now this next one, man.
Okay, let's have a conversation. Let's start a dialogue, as Charles Barkley once said.
Start a dialogue.
We have Nico, Ichiko, and Fang versus language.
Bruh, listen, you've been hearing me preach about it since we read it. If Ragnarok wasn't Ragnarok, this might be my favorite fight personally in the series.
It's so creative.
It has everything. Emotion out the ass. Like, it has a lot of emotion from Nico, him getting the unforgettable ability and getting all the memories. Like, bruh, that, and then Fang coming in, and you know, Fang, he typically has like if you put like top 5 fighters in the like entertaining fights, he definitely has like one of the best. Like, he's one of my favorites to look at. He's a martial artist. Who doesn't like martial artists? He came in, did his thing, and then Ichiko putting the battery in Nico's back to make that decision and trust him. And then Lan too, like that dynamic was really great because he beat her in the previous loop, and then she wanted her to get back against him now, even though he's different now. And then the fight itself, like that was insane with the languages and using all these different things and seeing how they counter each other. That's my personal favorite fight aside from Ragnarok, obviously. It's just so good.
I don't think I've been as impressed with the mangaka for the creativity of a fight in such a long time.
I know, right?
This, and I know that like Shiratori games in general, because I think No Game No Life had a similar type of game in it. I haven't seen it, but to introduce this into a battle shonen series to where this is a battle of wits. And Nico, unfortunately, was forced to take on Unforgettable a second time. And just the artwork, the back and forth to where, oh, well, it's what you imagine it to be. And then Ichiko thinks of this cute little fur ball instead of the actual abomination or abominable snowman that I think it was supposed to be. And then the deciding factor for me, I feel like it is the second best, is that Nico had a similar moment to Billy. He talked his talk. He got right up in Lan's face and said, "Are these reincarnations the exact same?" And she's like, "Oh, you wasted your move." And he's like, "I didn't waste it. Fuko, did you hear that?" Incredible.
Like, yeah, see, that was I like that you brought that up. It had the same feeling as Billy's, but like, and we love Billy's a lot, but like when you really think about it, character wise, going back, especially for me, how I felt betrayed when he did what he did, even though I understood it. Like, and once he admitted to it and said like he was stupid for even like, because my thing is I just hated that he got his homies killed. I really did not like that. I still don't like that. Even though I understand, I don't like that. But he admitted to it and essentially apologized for it, and had this big upgrade, got the ability, the trauma, and got all the memory. He got that's honestly one of the craziest moments I ever seen from a character in any animanga, like any series. Like, when you think about everything that goes into it, and that character specifically, we already know his ability is the toughest to even have. Like, it's even worse this loop. And it's worse is exactly. Like, and he did it against a Master Rule too. On top of that, like, this is,
he soloed her essentially.
Yep. And then the game itself was so cool. Like, bruh, and then think about while we're going through all these fights and stuff, I'm thinking about how David Productions, like the anime production, will look like for these. This is one that I can't wait for. That shit's gonna look crazy. Oh my god.
And I know this won't happen, but I just want to bring up another reference. If they were to outsource this fight to another company, you know what company I feel like would be the perfect company to take over this fight?
Let me think. Madhouse.
No, but that's a good guess. I'm thinking UFO table with the season 3 finale, or excuse me, the season 4 finale of Demon Slayer. To where you have Tanjiro running across the sunny, grassy plains, and you just see like the sun come up, and then a supernova. They're fighting in the sky. Nico and Lan are just going at it, word for word.
Even her death too, like that panel. That was a good ass panel.
Yes.
And it reminds me of that with the Tanjiro and Nezuko and Sun stuff. Yep. That's a great fight. And you could tell it's really good because we agree with it like basically evenly on everything we said so far.
What you said was perfect. If Ragnarok wasn't Ragnarok, this would be the top fight in the series. And that's only Ragnarok Loop 100. That's not Ragnarok Loop 101.
Bro, what is 101 going to look like, man? Because we still have the Master Rules. If they're there as well, that's going to be probably the craziest in-game battle we've probably seen in anime ever.
I can't
think about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's wild.
And I would not be surprised if Tozuka can pull it off. Even if it's even slightly under my expectations, which are on the moon, like it's still going to be a classic type of fight.
I seriously don't know how it's going to go down. I don't know.
I think we had this conversation previously. You said, is there like a staple or a classic arc in this series? I feel like that fight and that arc, like the final bout, is going to move mountains. It is going to put Undead Unluck on the map if it's not already by the time that seasons 2 and 3 come out.
Oh my God. I can't, bruh. Because and my thing is, I find joy in just seeing other people's reactions. I say it all the time. Like, I legit really want to see what like anime onlys would think of a lot of this stuff, especially with that. Like, going from how we're seeing this series now, saying it's a hidden gem. By that point, if David,
it ain't gonna be hidden.
If the anime doesn't, it should never get canceled. But
it ain't gonna be hidden at that point,
bruh. Exactly. That's crazy. Like we've seen it go from nothingness to golden.
I was legitimately about to drop this series, and that is not an overstatement. Like by episode 7, I was just like, "This ain't it, man."
Right? Yeah. See, we felt the same way about that too. It's like, it's okay, but it's not doing nothing for real yet. And then we started learning. And then we seen that fight against Victor. Then we started learning more lore. Oh, okay. Man, I can't wait. And the thing is, it's not even like, oh, I can't wait to like. There's series where it's like, man, we gotta wait like 8 years for this series. It starts literally from season 2. I can't wait for a winter arc. I can't wait so we don't even have to wait that long for real. And that's how you know this series is really good, because it's not like, oh, you have to wait until. I'm not saying Demon Slayer is like this, but like Infinity Castle is something that everybody's been hyping up for a long time now. Where people, even anime onlys, are like, okay, like they like Entertainment District, of course, Swordsmith Village, but like that is that arc right there, and you have to wait. Especially now with the movie release, like you gotta wait for all of it. But this series, you don't gotta wait that long for like peak. You don't.
Yeah.
But last one.
Okay. Last one is Kaide versus Kururu and Soul, the idol battle to end all idol battles.
I'll say overall, it's like in the middle of everything.
It's very solid. Not quite what I was expecting.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it's not good, that I was subverted with my expectations. Yeah,
I like the music aspect and the band stuff. It was pretty cool.
I feel like this one's definitely going to benefit from the anime.
Yeah.
Just reading a manga about singing, I don't really care, truth be told. I would say maybe above Julia? versus Fuko.
That's actually perfect.
All right.
And then Union versus Tatiana. Not really.
No, not really.
So whoever's next is next. We'll see what's the next big one.
All right, try to make this a little bit more on screen.
Damn. Series has a lot of good fights.
And if you look at like the bottom 4, 5, if you look at the bottom 5 of B tier, everything almost is damn near in season 1.
Yep.
Technically, we got a little preview of Juice versus Victor when we weren't supposed to see that, but that's fine.
We have 13 in S tier. God damn. How? Wait. Is it? Wait. Oh, never mind. Okay, B still has the most, but damn near S tier damn near had the most. That's wild.
I don't know what to say to that. That's
looking at them again. They are S tier based off of like what was going on, and like there's multiple reasons why these are in S tier.
Yeah, I don't think that we kind of overrated a lot of these. I feel like they're appropriately rated.
And even if they're not S tier, they're definitely A tier and high A at that. If some weren't in S tier for real.
Mm-hmm.
And A tier basically is damn near S tier. It's right there.
And that's a lot of just manga only. For the longest time, I always thought it was kind of funny when people would make fun of manga readers. It's just like, oh, just you wait till we get to that arc. I always thought that they were kind of obnoxious when they were saying that. But no, like seriously, I've turned into that for this series.
Right.
I'm just like, oh no, just you wait. Just you wait till winter. Just you wait till summer. Just you wait till spring.
Oh man.
It's the diamond in the rough. It's that stupid meme where the guy's mining.
That's our cookies, yep. Just you wait.
Just you wait. And welcome, by the way.
Welcome.
Oh man, what a series.
It really is. Like the more it's like it's because recency bias is a thing for everything. But like there's times where I will like the stuff that we praise Undead a lot, and then I make sure that I go back to other series and read stuff or watch stuff, just to test out if I still feel the same. And honestly, this is one of the few series that I still feel the same about when I praise it. Like it doesn't go down more. Like other series, it's like after I'm not reading it or watching it for a while, it can go down. But this one, it doesn't really go down. Like truthfully, this series has not regressed for real. Like sure, there's been some arcs that's like, okay, we're taking it back, step back, but not. It's just once, and then you're right back into something else again.
I guess I'll bring this up as like a final topic before we head out for the night. But do you feel, and this again, I'm not going to try to use recency bias as a reasoning for me bringing this up, but do you feel like Tozuka is kind of just checking off boxes at this point with a couple of the characters? It's just like, oh, okay, I'll give them a little bit of development, a little bit of focus in 101. But then my biggest issue with this series is how some of these characters, they're just dropped or just put off to the side. Now, for the most part, 95%, I'd say he's doing an excellent job. There's just a few characters like Kururu, Shen, I don't know, like
Yusai.
Like Void got a little bit, and then he's just been away again. I just want a little bit more from these characters.
And I kind of said it earlier. It's like I think there's two things. Tezuka has his own priorities, as all mangaka, all creators, authors should.
Sure.
But also he's trying to and it's like 50-50. He has his own priorities, but he's also trying to satisfy most readers because he, in a way, he kind of does like when you were saying about against Uma Color, like that should have been longer, but it seems like he just wants to get to the next thing a little bit because he's like whatever, I could sacrifice color for something else, and I'm not that mad at it, but at the same time I'm like, but damn, that could have been a lot cooler and longer, better, like it could have been, but. And I think that is, it can be a detriment. But I also don't fault him as much for certain characters, aside from the ones that we named. But certain characters, I don't mind because, like, say Chikara, for example. And 101, he's just whatever. But he got a lot of his moments in 100, which I'm fine with his character. He doesn't really need to do too much more. Like, just pretty much doing the same things that he has been doing. But I think really the one reason why we're pointing it out a lot is because of Shin. If Shin was like done how we kind of thought he would have been, we probably wouldn't even say this much. Only it would just be Yusai and Kururu, really. And somewhat feel slightly, but we'll see if we can get more from him.
Yeah, I think
we are.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Chikara has gotten more development than Shin.
Yeah, for sure.
And we met him so much later.
Yep. He got, like, if you want to be for real, he low-key got a lot of development, like, during his introduction.
Yeah.
Like, he immediately, he was like one of the first union members, well, literally, but he was like one of the first ones that we recruited that, like, remember, we kept talking about how, like, he's a coward character done really well. He understands his task. He's like, okay, I got to do what I got to do. He could still have, be hesitant, but he gradually started to improve over time. And for a character like that, that's a lot. So I agree that Shin, I don't know what, maybe Tezuka is just waiting on stuff for Shin. Maybe. Because I just find it hard for him to like not do a lot with him when he's like one of the first main characters. At least that's how we thought he was originally.
Unfortunately, I think that his development is kind of locked behind Fang's death. I don't feel like he's going to get the proper shine that he needs to until he's that guy.
Yeah. I don't mean this in a bad way, but I kind of feel like, okay, so this is something that, I said it earlier, we just need more POV of him and Mui, but I kind of feel like him being Pero Mui kind of brings him down a bit.
He is the type of boyfriend that's very much agreeable, and again, that's not a knock on him. I feel like that's probably the way to go, to where you're in a relationship that it's on equal footing. But it doesn't seem to me that pairing has allowed him to grow on his own.
And I feel like
this loop.
Yeah. Or maybe, or at least establish that his dreams change. Because we didn't really get that, right? Like, he doesn't necessarily does he still have that dream? Or is it kind of different?
I don't know. No, we don't know.
That's the thing. I think either his dream should change, because if it's still the same, it doesn't make sense, because he hasn't really, it's not like he's never said it.
He's not working towards it.
Nope. In 100, he was consistently working for it. And then he died. And then he came back. And it still feel like he's dead. Like, when he died and became a Jiangxi, it's like he's still the same character from that point. Where it's like,
I mean,
there's no new goal for him no more. But you know what? I think what would be pretty cool though is, well, see, it's Fang though. Fang is, I think it's Mui and Fang. It's kind of weird. It's like they both kind of bring him down in certain ways. He's almost better solo. his goal works better for a character if they're just a solo type of character with that much ambition and dreams. It just like him and Fang essentially had like the same dream, but now Fang, you can tell his whole dream is gonna turn into like he wants his student to surpass him. But I don't know. I just hope Tezuka does something big with him. Him and Yusai, man, and Kururu. It's just 3 characters, Tezuka. Please. At least give him like a quest against one of the Umas or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we need to see some more side quests from a lot of these characters. Or even, like you said, a POV of maybe just say like what Kururu wants to do. Yep. Does she still want to be an idol? Okay, well, let her do her thing. You might have to give her someone to go with her, but at this point, you can't force her to stay there.
Yep. And I agree, Gavin. But it's just like, maybe I think we're spoiled by Tezuka. I think that's the problem. Because, like you said earlier, like 95% or more of the cast are done really well. And it's just like a handful, like literally like 4 characters or 3.
I mean, you could be whatever. Oda level and just give development to 2 Straw Hats.
Right.
Every 400 chapters. Like, that's not what I want. Tezuka's doing an amazing job. So please don't take this as like serious criticism.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if serious is the right word, but don't take it as like we're just throwing shade at him. He's doing an amazing job.
We're just getting spoiled, man.
I know.
Because look at Shin, bro. I mean, not Shin. Sean. Look at him.
I was about to say, what?
Look what he did with Sean. It's like Sean was such an insignificant character. Like
he's probably my top 10 favorite characters.
I think so too. Like if you're being like real, like for real, he might be like if I wanted to hang out with somebody in real life, he would probably be one of them. Now. Like now, at first, hell,
he's a goofball. He's a goofball.
He would be at the end before, but now he's like actually really dependable, trustworthy, and he has good advice. Like. He's kind of like, in a way, like, okay, so Fuko, like, Gina's her right hand, and then Nico's also like a right hand. Sometimes Sean is like the right hand. Like, in this chapter, when he was talking to Fuko, like, he's been a leader a lot of the times. And coming up with good ideas. Like, he's dope.
In the Japanese economy, there is something called... It's a position in most companies, but not all of them. It's called the American. And what they will do, they will hire this person, whether they're actually from America or not is kind of irrelevant. But the job title is quote unquote the American. It's to have like an everyday person that will just ask questions that maybe you're not thinking of because of the fact that you're so focused, let's just say like the management team. You're so focused on doing this that you're not thinking about the implications of what could go wrong or what this would mean for your customers. Sean is the union equivalent of the American. He will ask the question, oh, well, why didn't you just use remember now? And we didn't get an answer in this chapter, at least not that I perceived. Is that correct?
Nope, I don't think so.
So at this point, Sean's asking the questions that the reader's asking. And then he also did that last loop with Kaide. Oh, well, it's not really a time loop, is it? And then Fuka's like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, like, even he did it twice this chapter, even with Tatiana. He just kept, he's like, are you sure? Like, it's dangerous.
You're going to get crushed.
He's literally doing the same thing that Nico was doing for a long time. In one-on-one. So a lot of these characters are really solid. Like, there's not a character like it's one of those series where you easily can have favorite characters and people won't argue with you about it. Like if you say, oh, if you told somebody your top 5 or something or top 10, nobody will look at you like, what the hell? Why are they that high? Like they just won't. And even Shin, even though he's not, he hasn't really done, like, I I wouldn't look at nobody crazy if they said Shin is in the top 10.
I mean, there's always the possibility that he can come back and develop these characters more. Because have you looked at how many different types of arcs we've had in this series?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to name them all again. We literally have everything. So if he wanted to do a combination, if he wanted to put characters in a certain situation that we might not have even thought about.
Just like with Fang pulling up with Nico. Like, that was so random. Or not random. Like, we know why, but like it's still kind of random in a way. So it's
you never would have thought those two characters would be on the same side fighting with one another.
So you never know. Shin could pop up somewhere with Fuko. She got like, I don't know, isolated or something. They took her and he's on the damn Nimbus.
What about with Kuduru? What if he starts to ask like, oh, why are my memories of Mui now replaced with you? What if there's a lasting effect? I don't know. There'd be some cool stuff that you can introduce with some of these lesser used characters so far.
Or maybe even Ruin, man. Like, imagine he could be one of the main ones in that mission. Just think about it. Like, he wants to his dream, like the GOAT of all like just surpassing or beating God. And you think of Ruin, where he's literally he worships that. So I don't know. There could be an interesting dynamic there too, if that still is his dream.
Sure.
But maybe he can show. I don't know. But I think that would be pretty cool to see. But yeah, this is a really good series though, man. I in a way I kind of like that people don't know about the series yet, just because I just want to see people's reactions when they like finally find out, oh, this is one of them ones. It's kind of cool to see that a series that you read or watch that's not that popular, and then it just when certain stuff start dropping, like, whoa, we've been missing out. It's like when you're a kid and then I don't know, your parents try to feed you something and you're like, no, I don't want that, and then years later you try, you're like, whoa, wait,
this is amazing.
It's like that. But this is our list. I think it's a dope list.
So many great fights.
This is the correct opinion, guys. So so if you don't agree,
it is the only opinion. No, we're just kidding.
Oh man, yep. But we won't be here next week because it's a break once again. Jump break. So 2 weeks from now we'll be back. But we got other content coming in. I mentioned Go Loser Ranger. We'll be getting into that, so stay tuned for that, and a lot of other stuff too. But yeah, you got anything else to say before we head out?
Just one thing. I will be live streaming my catch-up reactions to One Piece starting tomorrow. So if you guys are fans of One Piece, that will be on my own personal channel, likely about 8 o'clock EST tomorrow. It might be a little bit earlier on Tuesday because I got quite a few chapters to read. But I'm excited to finally get caught up to One Piece. And if you guys really dig it, Vontae and I were kind of workshopping an idea to where we just move both of our individual One Piece reactions over to this channel. And then we could have conversations with you guys. Because obviously One Piece has outlasted yet another long-running staple of Shonen Jump, that being My Hero. So I'm sure a lot of people are reading One Piece. And if you aren't, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. We can create a thread in our Discord. You can have a first-time reading experience. We'd love to see that. We'd always love more fans of series that we both love and react to. Kind of have their own unique experiences, because I think that's one reason why you guys continue to come back to this reaction channel, just to get our genuine and first-time reactions to series that you love. So.
Yes, sir. So that being said, I hope you guys all have a good one. Please stay safe, stay healthy, stay clean. See you guys all in the next stream or video, and peace.
Peace.